like, do you pinky promise me? And then she's like, yeah, I pinky promise you. So then you pinky promise when we were like waiting for the group photos because people were like taking 1,000 years.
Now I have to worry about the other 5 people on my committee. I'm like, who are these people gonna be?
Or I was very not opposed to being on the committee.
Yeah, I didn't vote for you.
Welcome to our very first episode. Where am I looking? There?
Just look at.
Look at
It's
that.
a conversation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome to our very first episode of Dim Sum After Mass. Hope you're having an amazing day, both of you. I'm Zach,
I'm Janice.
and we are the host podcast. Wait, what?
We're the hosts of this podcast.
We are the hosts of this podcast. This is episode 1, so thank you guys for being here. Please introduce yourselves.
My name is Clement, and I'm currently a student at the University of Ottawa studying French and music.
W.R.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. My name is Sarah, and I'm also from Ottawa. I am in between my 3rd and 4th year of mechanical engineering at Carleton.
Okay, for a little bit of a background, we have both Clement and Sarah here to share their experiences as committee members for our living camp called ECCCLC, or Eastern Canada
You
Chinese.
missed the scene. You missed the scene.
Of course I did. Eastern Canada Chinese Catholic Living Camp, or GT. So today we're going to have them talking about that. Okay.
But we also have the podcast hosts who are also part of the GT committee as well.
W committee.
So Zach, do you guys want to introduce yourselves too or no?
I am currently at Seneca for business, and working at Home Depot. So if you need lumber.
I'm
Not
Janice.
sponsored, by the way.
Yes, not sponsored.
Okay, I'm Janice. I just finished my 3rd year at TMU nursing, so I'm going to my 4th year, final year of my nursing program. And I have a lot of part-time jobs, so we're not gonna go into depth of what I do way too much. So yeah.
Can you guys talk a little bit about what GT is and like the history so that our viewers have some idea of what's kind of going on?
Sure, yeah. So GT, otherwise known as ECCCLC, if we want to sum it up, it's basically like a weekend-long retreat that happens every year over a Labor Day long weekend. And the target age range is like 17 to 35, but
We like to extend it a couple of years.
exactly, yeah.
Or
If you wanna
lower it a
come,
couple of
please
years.
Come.
So basically you guys are saying 35-ish.
35-ish. 17-ish.
So for all of you 39-year-olds who want to come to GT, you can come for sure.
If you want,
Yeah, we would love to have you guys.
Yeah, but it's like a weekend of prayer, adoration, mass, talks, fellowship, just like a nice way to kind of detach from the day-to-day life and rekindle your spiritual fire.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just going to say, I'm pretty sure it started because a bunch of immigrants from China, Hong Kong decided that they still wanted a community of Chinese Catholics. And so they got together, they created this GT community, and it's been about 50 years. We're celebrating our 50th anniversary this year.
Come to the gala.
Yeah,
Well,
November
you have to
7th.
Come to the retreat.
that too.
Retreat and then
Yeah.
gala.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you guys how long it's been around for, but you answered that question.
50
So that's
years.
amazing.
50 years.
Can you kind of walk us through a little bit of like your weekend, just a little bit, so our viewers kind of know what kind of goes on, besides just, of course, escaping regular day-to-day life.
Escaping, running away. So usually we all rather on Friday night. Usually it takes about an hour or so for people to settle in and stuff. So we have people coming in from Toronto, from Waterloo, from Montreal, from Ottawa, as mentioned before. So we have a bunch of Chinese Catholics just all around Eastern Canada, obviously. And they get together on Friday night. We go over a bit of like the rules and stuff. The real programming starts on Saturday when we invite the guest speaker to come in, give a couple of talks. We do Taizé on Saturday. We do Mass on Saturday. We do small groups. We also have activities planned. That's pretty much our Saturday. Do you want to talk about Sunday?
Sunday is almost the same thing all over again, except we have overnight adoration. So we just go downstairs to the main lodge and spend the whole night with Jesus.
Which is such an amazing experience.
Very special time.
I think all of us have had really, really amazing experiences with overnight adoration. I know for me.
I mean, me too. We all saw me
Yeah.
what happened last year.
GT24 and GT25, like those are such amazing, amazing experiences.
Also, disclaimer, like it's not just Chinese Catholics who can come.
Oh yeah,
Evidently.
so I'm
Evidently.
not Chinese, guys. Like who would have thought, right? I know I deceived all of you. You guys thought I was. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not Chinese.
Yeah. You don't have to be Chinese, you don't have to be Catholic. Just come with an open mind and heart. Yeah.
And you'll meet me. Who wouldn't want to, right?
This guy.
Next thing I wanted to ask both of you is, how did you find out about GT? And I want to get one particular experience that you guys have had that you would want to share with anybody who could relate to, possibly as a camper. What's something that really stuck out to either of you and you?
I mean, you can answer that too.
Yeah.
Like, we'll just roundtable discussion. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I think I initially found out about GT through two sources. The first one being my family friends. I think they were a couple years older than me, and so they were talking about how they went, and they were asking me a couple of years later if I wanted to join them. And then I was like, that's how I got to know about GT and when it happened and all that stuff. But then I talked about it with my parents, and I found out that they also went back when they were in their 20s, and they told me to go. So I've been there ever since. It's been 4 GTs now, which is pretty crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
BT Nepo Kid.
Nepo kid for GT. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm also a Nepo kid for GT. I was, my parents were also among the older generation, the low bangs as we like to call them, for English viewers, old biscuits of GT alumni, I guess. So they first introduced the idea to me back when I was maybe 15 or so, but I was too young to go. But back then I wasn't really, interested in going because I still had my youth group back at Chinese Martyrs. And in my opinion, they ran a much better retreat than whatever my parents were saying. Like my parents, when you're a kid, your parents, they approach you with something and you're just like, Mom, Dad, I already have this. Like, why would I want to go to something else, right? So I decided like it wasn't meant for me. So my first GT was in 2023. Father Barnard was the guest speaker that year. But also it was really nice seeing, people from my youth group. So Camus, Alex, who am I forgetting? Trez. Sam wasn't there yet. Sorry, Sam. But yeah, it was like really nice seeing us all grow together because previously Alex, Camus, Therese were my youth group leaders. And so it was a little bit strange, like being in the same level as them. But then after that, just, connecting with them, getting to grow in faith, with these leaders that, I kind of looked up to all my life and seeing them kind of like, I don't want to say like humanized because they're not like, it's not like they weren't humanized before, but it's just like,
Would you say it brought them down to like earth more? Because
Yeah,
they were
I guess-
like
I
youth
guess
group
so,
leaders
yeah.
versus now they're like more peers.
Exactly, right. And I'm on committee with Sam too, so it's like it's crazy. But yeah, so I think it was just a really, really fun experience all around, and I met some really amazing people. I think I met Janice that year. Yeah, somewhere along there, and then Sarah I met that year too.
Yeah.
Zach wasn't at GT back then, but yeah, like GT23 was amazing, and then I got into GT24. That was the year I started helping out. I did community connections, multimedia, IA, and then watching the people in my small group get to encounter Christ as well was really impactful. And that year, the theme was broken and beloved, which was also really, really, also resonated with me a lot. Because as everyone knows, everyone has something that, they're broken with inside. And so you come to GT, you listen to Father Eric's talks about healing, finding peace through Christ. And that was really, really impactful towards me. Yeah.
Nice.
I'd say personally for me, like I found out through a couple of my friends too. The sister of my friend was on committee in GT24. So her brothers were coming down, and typically when her brothers come down from where they live, they stay with me. But then I was like, oh, what do you guys, why are you coming down again? Like, I'm excited because I get to hang out with you guys again, but like, why are you here? And then she actually told me about it. And then I was like, you know what? I had just kind of not come back to the faith, but I was looking for a community within it. So I signed up GT24 as a camper. I think it was a much better experience than I had in Steubenville. First of all, I went in with more of an open heart. I was older, so I kind of understood a little more about the faith, but more so just connecting with people was so much easier. And I told so many people about this when I was at GT in 24. I found that it was similar in terms of structure and how I felt in terms of like my connection with God over that retreat as Steubenville was, but it's so much more personal. I got to know people for who they were rather than just passing, or like I didn't go to the retreat. Like I went to the retreat with one other friend, but again, we were separated. But the people I got to know there, that was like what kind of affected me and wanted me to kind of continue on with this group. Because again, I had gone to like other young adults stuff within our archdiocese, but I couldn't find a home. So going to GT as a camper, like I got to experience that. And I got to experience kind of like the love that you get from a young adult community.
Yeah.
I think what's the word I'm looking for? Like, thing that draws people into GT is definitely the community that that comes along with it. You know, like our committee has definitely gone a lot closer in the year that we've spent preparing for GT. Our parents met through GT. Some of them they met through GT and then got married, had kids, raised families, right? But yeah.
Yeah. So I went to a Chinese parish because, okay, let's just like more introduction to who I am. So I moved from Hong Kong to Toronto in 2021. So this is my 5th year in Canada. So then my grandparents moved here a lot earlier, like 30 years ago or something. So then they went to the Chinese parish. So then when I moved here, I also went to the Chinese parish. So, and there I got introduced to our youth group. So YOSAC is our youth group. So then people always so I kind of know of GT because then GT would come to my parish and promote about GT because we tend to go to Chinese parishes because that's the main audience of who we serve, right? Chinese Catholics. So yeah, so I kind of like graduated from YOSAC. So when I say that, it's like because YOSAC is really more catered to high school students. And then I do a lot of my own like research about faiths. And at one point I outgrew the content that they go through in a high school retreat. So then people were like, hey, like you should just go to GT because at that point I'm also entering university. So I'm finally of age to go to GT. I wanted to go to GT before, but I was too young. So then the moment I turned 17, so then I signed up to go to GT. So yeah, and I think for me, my experience is more like focused on me as a Hong Kong immigrant now, or like a newcomer, because really like the masses we have at GT is probably the closest you can get to what actually happens in Hong Kong now. Because I'd say like a lot of our Chinese churches, parishes here, they are kind of stuck up in the way like probably 50 years ago, like how Hong Kong parishes were 50 years ago. So then coming here, it's kind of like, oh, I don't hear the songs I hear often when I was in Hong Kong, when I grew up in Hong Kong, because, like things progress. People kind of like, we like this mass setting more, we like these songs more, or like this is how we do like Our Father. We use this version of Our Fathers, and it's like almost everybody in Hong Kong knows that version. And then we come here like, I have not heard that version in like 5 years, right? And then so I'd say like coming to GT is definitely like getting to see all the other Hong Kong newcomers too, and be able to like share about our faith and know more people who speaks my language, who understands the cultural context between everything we say. And then I think like that is an even more like deeper connection that I is able to find at GT. So like that's why I love GT so much.
Amazing. Thank you guys for all sharing that. First of all, I want to move on to now the committee side of things. So mainly I want to ask you, how were you selected for GT26? If you guys can kind of explain that. And then within that, they're going to explain it, but the discernment process that kind of went behind all of you and what made you want to be on committee. Whether that desire was from a couple of years ago or whether that just struck like the day of discernment.
Do you want to explain it?
Sure. For discernment, at every GT, there's a little mason jar called the discernment cup. And people, if they so feel called to, can put people's names into the mason jar. And if they do that, it's like an indication that they think that this person should be on committee. So for example, if Janice, was in my small group for GT and, we had a really good discussion and Janice thinks that I should be on GT committee, she would write my name down on a slip of paper, put it in the mason jar. And then at the end of the retreat, everyone whose name is put into the discernment cup will be invited to the discernment day, which is a little retreat where people can pray, they can sing together, praise the Lord, and get to know the people who are also discerning being on GT committee. And then at the end of the day, after a lot of thought, a lot of prayer, and a lot of conversation with the Lord, you come out of Sister's house, I guess, as GT committee. But yeah.
During discernment day as well, past committee members are also there. So you get to talk to them about their own experiences and then kind of weigh the pros and cons from there. And then, just discern all day on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I think they also like put us through like personality tests and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And we're like, how do you think, or like how do you tend to work, like stuff like that.
Style,
Can you guys share a little bit about your personal experience this past discernment day?
Sure. For me, like just discernment day or
Just discernment day and like your discernment process. Yeah,
How you
like
got there and
yeah.
I guess the full thing, not just the day.
Yeah, your discernment to be on committee this year.
Sure. Yeah. I would say even before arriving to the retreat camp place for GT25,
Retreat camp place.
whatever it's called.
Next promotion for
Kakwa.
GT is just retreat camp place
Yes, exactly.
instead of Camp Kakwa. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. I had a feeling that I would be on committee, or I was very not opposed to being on committee because I knew that I'm on my co-op placement right now, so I would just be working a full-time job, and like being all the way from Ottawa, it wouldn't be super unrealistic to commute down to Toronto for like committee weekends, fundraisers, all that stuff. So I knew like timing-wise, it would have been right for me. And at the same time, I felt that I was in the right space, the right place in my spiritual journey to be on committee and to take on a more leadership type role. So when I got the invite to come to discernment day, I was like, okay, I'll come. Why not? And then I showed up, and for me, it was a discernment process, but I had nothing that was stopping me from getting on committee. So it was more of a feeling that I was like,
Did you have a previous desire, or was it more so like, oh, I'm free this year, it would be something I'd be interested in?
I would say I did before that, mostly because my older brother got in committee for GT24, and I saw that, like I saw him journeying through that whole experience, and I was like, this is something I would want to go through as well. So yeah, it's been in the back of my mind since 2 years ago.
Was there a particular point in which, during that day, that you were like, I'm going to leave my name up 100%, not going to take it down?
Before I got there, I was like, I'm not taking my name off the whiteboard.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah.
For the discernment process, there's a big whiteboard with everyone's name on it. And if at any point during the day you feel like maybe you're not called to be on GT committee, you can erase your name. But I think many of us came to the conclusion, especially after, I think it was Valerie's testimony, that, if you leave your name on the board, it's just kind of like a surrender to the Lord.
Yeah.
You let God take the reins. If God so chooses me to be on GT committee, then he will find a way to make that happen, right? Yeah. For me, again, like I really like working with young people, and it's part of the reason why I want to be a teacher one day. But yeah. So I don't know, like Sarah said, it was just kind of a feeling. But I knew that this year I wouldn't be as busy because the youth group committee was kind of just like, I don't want to say like tumbling, but like it was like slowing down a bit because we had already gone through it a year before, so we kind of knew what we were doing. It was more like a routine, and so I knew that I was able to time manage it as long as I didn't play as many video games. Yeah, so I walked into discernment day with an open heart, and there was like a couple of moments of discernment beforehand when I was praying, and I prayed a novena to, I don't think I ever told this story before, but I prayed a novena to Saint Therese, who sent me a rose at the end of the 9th day at a St. Patrick's Church in Ottawa. And that was kind of just like confirmation, in quote unquote confirmation, that the Lord was calling me in, to be on committee. But when I walked into discernment, there were a couple like fears as well, mostly because I knew that if I went onto GT committee this year, it might delay graduation a bit. It might delay like vocational discernment, that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, if the Lord calls you to be on something, He'll find a way for you to do it. So
Amazing.
I guess for me, so the summer last year, I went on a mission trip to Rome with CCO, Catholic Christian Outreach. So then went on the mission, came back on fire. I was like, oh, I should do something. But then the last on my list is GT committee, because I know people who have been on GT committee and know that literally like your entire life is probably going to be GT for the next year. So last day, literally we're leaving camp. And then we were taking group photo, and guess who sat next to me? Sarah Chung of all people. And then literally I was just sitting there, and then this girl was like super cute. And then she's like, you know what, like, are you gonna like be committee? And then I'm like, well, I don't know. And then she's like, well, I know. I said, well, are you like, do you want to be on committee? I was like, I don't know, maybe. And I was like, if you do it, I'll do it. So I said to Sarah, if you do it, I'll do it. And then she's like, okay, I'm doing it. And I'm like, really? I'm like, okay. So then I'm like, okay, like, do you pinky promise me? And then she's like, yeah, I pinky promise you. So then you pinky promise when we were like waiting for the group photos, because people were like taking 1,000 years to like line up for like the photo, whatever.
Yeah, certain photography is also taking his time.
And then I was like, hey, so yeah, showed up to camp. Was like, you know what? No, showed up to discernment. Showed up to discernment day, and then he was like, I'm not gonna take I completely scrapped off whatever I have in mind. Like, no more 4 months Hong Kong for me. Maybe like another year, and then. Like, looking back, really, like, this year, probably the best year for me to do GT, because in third year nursing is the chillest year of the entire degree that you get in nursing, and then fourth year is going to be, like, nightmare, because you have, like, consolidation, like, working full-time at the hospital, and then on top of it, you go to school, and then you got to prep for licensing tests and stuff, and after that, you got to go find a job and become a nurse, and which is also really busy. So then, I guess, like, I also happens to, like, fast-tracked all my, like, elective, so then this is my most free year. So
I wanted to add something. In my discernment process, I also remembered past committee members. So I mentioned Alex and Camus, who were youth group leaders before. So they were really big inspiration to me growing up, because again, youth group committee, they were summer camp counselors and committee members prior to being youth group committee members. And so when I was a kid, I would look up to them as like, what is that? Like older brothers. And then watching them go into youth group committee was a really big inspiration as well. But I think for me, the biggest inspiration was probably Clarice, because in the past, GD community members have always been, like a little bit older than what we are. And so it's like, like early, maybe not early 20s, but like mid to late 20s-ish. And so Clarice, who's my age, was on GD committee last year. And so I thought that, if Clarice really surrendered herself to God, put herself, up to the Lord to be able to do this, and being that age as well, I thought there's no reason why I should say no to the Lord in GT committee. Yeah.
So
My discernment is a little different. So in 24, after having such an amazing experience at the retreat, I left the retreat and I wanted to be on committee like that year, not knowing how much actually went into it. Minus a couple of people telling me, oh, it's really busy. But I was like, I'm on like a break from school. I have tons of time. My job at the time was super not demanding. So I was like, yo, this would be the perfect year. I'm on fire for the Lord. Everything's gonna work out. I went to discernment day, left my name on the board the whole day. And then it came down to actually me being the last 5 on the board. So they're like, oh, you can't take your name off now. And then I was like, okay, kind of like hit me a little bit. And I'm like, oh, it's gonna be fine, right? And then they let everybody kind of take some time and then to see if anybody else wanted to put their name back on the board. And 4 other people put their name back. And then it came down to a voting process, which then I wasn't voted on. Which, when I look at it back then, I'm like, it's a really good thing that I wasn't, right?
yeah, I didn't vote for you.
Fair enough. To be honest, fair enough, right? So fast forward to 25. At the retreat, a couple of my friends, it happened on different occasions, but throughout the retreat, people were like, Zach, can you be on committee? And I'm like, I didn't even think about this till the first person brought it up. Totally forgot about the discernment jar. Totally forgot about everything. Like discernment, like community was not on my mind, right? So by the end of the retreat, like it was I was like, there's a desire to do it, but I was okay not doing it because it wasn't like, let's go, you know? Anyways, got invited, went to discernment day. Actually, that's not true. I was supposed to work that day. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'm not going to go. This is my sign. You know, it's not this year. But I was like, you know what? Let me see if I can get the shift taken away. So I asked everybody in my department, and either everybody was working or they were like booked off, so they couldn't come. Couldn't take my shift. And then finally, like there was one guy, he was like my last resort. He worked in a different department, but he could take my shift, so he ended up taking it. So thankfully I was...
Shout out to that guy if you're watching.
Yeah, he will not be, but it's okay. You know what? It's okay.
You never know.
That's true. But so he took my shift. I came to discernment day. It was a very, very disorganized morning. I woke up super late, got there late. But I was like, you know what? Like, let me see. I was starting school in September, so I was also kind of iffy about that. I was iffy about, you know, my work because I was also working 4 days a week while being in school. And just other, you know, commitments to my family and other people in my life. So I was still, you know, it was actually a discernment day rather than 24 where I was like, oh, I want to do this. And it finally came down to, I think, like Clement said, Val's testimony as well as conversations I had with a lot of different people. And a lot of the people who said, I can't do this, gave me a very, very valid reason. They're like, you know, either they don't live in the same city, but because of like the school, it would make it hard to travel or, you know, a bunch of different things. I'm like, damn, my excuse seems really, really, really silly. Like, I don't think that this is a valid excuse to take my name off the board. By the end of the like discernment day, there was 12 names. So I was like, you know what? I'm safe. I left it up to him. I'm not going to get chosen. It's totally okay. And it came down to voting. And I ended up voting for all of my committee members. And then I had one slot left. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to put my name. Like, I don't really, you know, it's whatever. And right before I hit submit, Adam pops into the room and he's like, remember, if you don't put your name, if you don't put your name, you don't believe in yourself. And if you don't believe in yourself, how do other people's pep
talk?
Then why would you think that other people would believe in you? I'm like, I can't not believe in myself. So I just put my name anyways. I'm like, this is not okay. So I put my name. And I remember being like, you know, very, very okay with whatever was going to happen. And then it happened. The 6 committee members from last year stood up there in the middle of the room. And I remember looking at them and I'm looking at like Gracie, I'm looking at Val, I'm looking at Alex. And I'm like, someone give me a sign. Like someone tell me my name is not on one of those 6 papers. And Alex opens up his first paper and I remember my heartbeat, like the fear of being on committee was going through me right now. And they had done so many activities about fear that day. And I'm like, this is this is just fear coming in, you know, and it's not sent by Jesus, that's for sure. Like it is sent by someone else. And I remember Alex saying my name first. And I remember...
Were you first?
Yeah, I was first. Alex said my name first. And in my head, it just went silent. It was like all the fear just went away. It was also like shock. So it could have been both, but like, I remember just being so okay with what just happened at that particular moment. Went up there, hugged him, and then I was like, oh, now I have to worry about the other 5 people on my committee. And I'm like, who are these people gonna be? But it ended up being that, you know, I'm very, very blessed to be on this committee and this year.
It's really funny because we were all in that one row.
It was crazy. Very, very close together.
Yeah, so the seating arrangement was like Zach on my right, I was in the middle, and then it was Sam. And then Colette was next to me, I think. Colette?
I was sitting like all the way on the right.
Yeah, so it was Colette first, and then Bernice, I think. Okay. Bernice, Sarah, Janice.
How do you remember this?
I don't think
because Clement, that was the first time Clement and I talked.
Yeah.
Like ever.
No, I sat on the other side.
I was next to Bernice for sure.
Yeah.
She was on.
I was on the other side, like.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember.
But
I remember like a whole bunch of us came from that one side, and I was just like, wow.
It was not me.
Yeah.
For sure.
I remember even like wanting Sam, because Sam and I joined, or we did GT for the first time together in 24. And I was like, oh, Sam's also not Chinese. So I kind of like latched onto the idea. And I was like, oh, it'd be really cool. Like I would always tell her like, if we were on committee together. It was like a joke, semi-joke, like whatever.
I also really wanted Sam to be on the team.
It's like we're like the most inclusive, like...
Diverse?
We're the most non-Chinese...
Yeah.
non-Chinese committee,
Committee.
I think.
Yeah.
Right.
Show a picture right now, but we got an Italian.
An Italian and Indian,
Yeah.
a Filipino, and a half Korean. So technically, we're only 2.5%.
She's half Chinese.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
2.5%.
it's still 3.5 non-Chinese people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
We got
goes to
a
show-
CBC and I got a newcomer too. Like everyone is included.
That is true.
Yes.
No, but it goes to show how much GT has changed in the last 50 years.
True.
It's not just, Chinese Catholics, as Sarah said earlier. It's welcome to all. Not even if you're not Catholic, just come with an open heart, and the Lord will do the rest.
Thank you so much for sharing that. You kind of mentioned it before. From what you guys know, like you two mainly, from what your parents might have talked about from GT 30, 40, 50 years ago, how has it kind of changed to what it is now? You kind of, again, did mention a little bit about it, but I want to talk a little bit more.
Yeah, well, one thing that comes to mind for me, my parents, because my mom's Korean, I know that her experience back then, like 25 years ago, more than 25 years ago, is very different from what it is now. So back then, it was mostly, everything was in Cantonese or Mandarin. And being a Korean, like for small groups, they batched all the English speakers into one group. So she was in that group and everyone else was like Chinese. So, which is insane because nowadays it's literally the opposite, where we have like a small group of native Mandarin speakers, Cantonese speakers, whose English they're not fluent in English. And like for us as second generation kids, or some of us as second generation kids, we prefer English over Chinese. So that the language aspect and I would say the cultural aspect within GT has definitely changed. There's been a lot of evolution. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you guys so much for sharing your experiences with all of our listeners and viewers. This podcast will continue, or I don't know if Clement wants to talk about it, but
Sure. So I'm actually the, producer for this podcast. So the plan for this podcast will be we will invite young people from the GTA and Ottawa and Montreal, if they so feel called to be on this podcast, to talk about their experiences, their conversion stories, their testimonies. And it doesn't have to be all in English, it can be in Cantonese as well. And there will be a Google form available on the FLL website, URL to be determined. But if you feel called to come onto this podcast to talk about a certain topic, feel free to fill out the form and we'll get in touch with you shortly about it. Anyways, sign up for GT. See you at GT.
Yay.